welcome to Beyond the Wind, the podcast about the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss, where we reread the series chapter by chapter, discuss some theories, and just spend some time in the beautiful world of Tamrind. My name is Marcy, and I'm joined as always by Leo. How are you today?
I'm doing very good, and you?
I'm also doing very good. Leo, what chapters do we reread today?
The parents of Quoth just died, and we're following him along in the chapter 18, and then we're going back to the inn in the chapter 19.
Yeah, let's head to chapter 18.
Chapter 18 is Roads to Safe Places. I'm already a bit wondering about the safe places that he's talking about. Do you know what safe places he's talking about?
The roads to safe places. Maybe he means the doors his mind goes so he can survive. But yeah, that's a good question about why the chapter is named like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when will go through it together, we will figure it out. So yeah, this chapter is about we see how Quoth's mind deals with the traumatic experience he had, and he describes like these doors his mind can go through to make him survive. Yeah, we see some memories and dreams. What was your impression of this chapter?
The first thought that I have was thinking about the similarities between the four doors of the mind and the five stages of grief. I don't know if you thought about it too.
It's interesting. Yeah, I know some stages like denial and I don't know. Can you go through them?
Um, I think the first is denial, and then you start bargaining. I just look quickly.
Yeah, bargaining, I think.
Oh, anger,
Is,
bargaining, depression, acceptance,
okay, so denial, anger, bargaining, depression,
depression.
accept.
Okay, exactly.
All right. Yeah, let's see. How did you connect them to these four doors?
Well, actually, I think I couldn't really. I wish I could because I
Yeah.
thought, well, there's a number and there's grief. So I thought at first, oh, it must be the same, but it really isn't. The first door is the door of sleep, and the sleep offers us a retreat from the world and all its pain.
Yeah,
And
it.
I think it's an other aspect of grieving. It's not one
Yeah,
that we had in the five stages.
but I think like denial is something like running away, right? So not
Hmm.
accepting and not dealing with it. So I think sleep is also like not dealing with it and not be awake, just yeah, go to sleep where everything is nice and good. And so I can actually I think there is a connection that one can argue.
I can see that, but also sleep is not. It's not a moment where we think very consciously, but we think a lot in our sleep. So I think it's also a way to deal with the things, but it's just that it's not doing it while we are thinking about it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Um, yep. So Quoth sleeps a lot, and that's one way his mind will protect him from what happened. What is the second door?
The door of forgetting. Some wounds are too deep to heal and too deep to heal quickly.
Yeah, I think this is something also that maybe everyone can relate to a little bit because
Hmm.
I think I don't know if there are studies, but usually memories are happier than they truly were, right? So when you think
Hmm.
about your childhood, you think, these were so happy times, and probably they are also, but as a child, you also cry a lot and are very often unhappy. And I think, yeah, forgetting the bad times is really something that our mind just does.
Hmm. Also, it's very common, not maybe not that common, but in some case of a traumatic experience, you have post-traumatic disorder that leads to lose the memory of this time.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it seems reasonable. I don't have experience with that, luckily. Um, but yeah, I think it's makes sense, yeah,
Hmm.
that when you have this experience at first you blend it out.
Hmm. Some people completely forget that they are traumatized, and sometimes they maybe 20 years later they just realize, oh, I was so traumatized of something, and yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you know the series. Do you know the series Dexter?
Hmm.
Yeah, I just the last few days I just watched some episodes again because I like this show back in the days. And I think it's with him similar, right? He is this serious killer, and yeah, he of course was very, very young when he had this traumatic experience. I think he watched his mom die, and but he remember spoilers for Dexter. He he kind of remembers these scenes that he experienced his trauma during his youth,
Hmm.
and yeah, in his present time, it actually has a huge impact on him. So yeah,
Hmm.
I just remember that.
Hmm. The third door
Okay.
is the door of madness. There are
Hmm.
times when the mind is dealt such a blow it hides itself in insanity. That will be something for
Yeah.
Dexter, right?
I don't know if I would call Dexter mad because mad is, I think he is just some part of him is like broken or works different.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's for me, madness is maybe more without reason and just less. Um, you can't really, you don't know what happens next, and
Hmm.
yeah, for me that is matters. I think with Dexter, you know what what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you relate to those to these doors that we have so far? Sleep, forgetting, and madness.
Mm. There's one I can very good relate to. I told you about the people that lost memory of some of phase of the life, and I have a phase in my childhood that I don't remember.
Oh, okay, okay,
Maybe 1 or 2 years that I don't know, that I just only know because people told me about, but I don't have any memory of it, for example.
okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm. And
Yeah, for me. Yeah,
it,
go
it
on.
it takes so much time to realize that something's missing, because if you don't remember something, then you don't remember it. You cannot say, ah, yeah, I don't remember it.
Yeah,
So,
that
so
that's a thought that I have very often. That
yeah,
don't know what you forgot. So
exactly. It took me 10 years to to realize that I'm missing some part of my memory.
yeah, I think for me, because again, I luckily don't have this traumatic experience, but when I felt bad, then I think sleep I can very relate to that. Yeah,
Hmm.
just wanted to sleep. And sometimes I think maybe more as a child madness, I feel like, yeah, when I was really sad and really grieving, then yeah, I acted like a little. I don't know. I know when my cat was not well, for example, that I don't
Hmm.
know. It was more than just being sad. It was, yeah, this a little bit of some mad state. I think I can
Uh-huh.
relate to that as well.
I have also a funny story about the memory thing. Like 5 years ago, I got a concussion, and I had short time memory loss. And then someone drove me to the hospital, and but they didn't get to inter with me because it was the COVID time, so I had to go alone. I went to the doctor, and I didn't really know what happened.
Oh, no.
So they asked me a lot of questions, and most of them was, I don't know. So, so the it didn't really work well with the questioning. So they said, "Oh, okay, you probably have a concussion. Be careful."
Oh no. Okay, yeah, that's a funny story. Okay, what is about the last door?
And the last door is the door of death. I don't think it's very realistic that death is an escape to pain, but I mean it is, but it's not
Yeah,
the
I
kind of
think.
escape people are looking for most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's still a realistic one, right? So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, suicide, of course, is for some people the way they choose, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's of course unfortunate when nothing else helped. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think actually these four doors that Patrick describes here, they are
Mm-hmm.
really some deep,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's some deep stuff that he writes here. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, just some
And
writing.
and if I understand it well, the four doors are like ranked of which one is the easiest. Like the easiest thing is sleeping, the next
Yeah,
easiest is forgetting, then comes menace, then comes death. I think it's depending of how big the pain is, then you have to go to one of the doors, and maybe you can rate the pain you had in going which door did you had to use. If you have to go through the fourth door, then it was really big pain, for example.
yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, yeah, so Quoth describes these, and yeah, he is after the death of his troop, goes into the forest and yeah, is wandering there, slept there, and then he had some dreams, right, about
Mm-hmm.
his former teachers, his parents. For example, here again we see he talks about Lacklith, so
Mm-hmm.
this man that we assume might be his uncle, for example, because it's very similar to Lockless, Lackless.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe his mother's brother is the one who taught him about witchcraft, and yeah, then he has some further dreams, right?
Mm-hmm. The most of the dreams is about him learning to survive, right?
Yeah.
And I was asking myself, because in a dream, all the things that happen are already in your head. There are things that you already heard or know in some ways. They're just like put together a bit randomly. So I was asking myself, how did he know all the things, or do you think there's something magical to it?
Um, yeah, so I think that he probably was taught all this stuff, like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is willow, you can chew the bark to lessen the pain, and um, yeah, I also was wondering because it feels very real and not so much like dreams, but like, yeah, like real lessons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe this is just his memories coming back and putting it together on some kind of list to survive.
Mm-hmm. And what interested me the most is you had this theory about um the theory that the time and that Quartz is spending at the Waystone here is also a time where the time goes differently, and maybe it spends a lot of real time here.
Mhm.
Did you see any hints to that here?
I think that in this chapter at least there's no evidence or no incident where I would say that happens because he touches the waystone, I think, that he
Mm-hmm.
lays on later, but it seems like he always comes back, or it's the same place and nothing happens between when he first um lays on a stone or something. So yeah, I don't think that he went to the Fey world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What are you?
it's also my thought. I think it's possible, but if it was really something that happened, I think there will be more hint to that. And now that I've reread the chapter, it's not really hinted that it is.
Yeah. Okay, so then yeah, after he has these dreams about his former memories, then he has some which he had no memories of, right? Because I think there's later Ben had never taught me sailor's knots, and my father had never finished the song. So yeah, he has this memory where Ben tells him knots are interesting things. The knot will either be the strongest or the weakest part of the rope. It depends entirely on how well one makes the binding. And again, this for me, this is like something that maybe I mean, it makes sense what he says there. And he never got taught about knots. And that's interesting, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
he never got taught about this. How does he know it? Or do you think it's coincidence or it's just then something that his mind just realized on its own? Or maybe someone else taught him? What do you think?
Yeah, that was the reason I was asking at the first time. And to me, it feels like there's something magical to it because I cannot find an explanation that's realistic and plausible. Mm, because there could be the possibility that he heard something without being really conscious about it, or that he figured it out unconsciously, but it's not very probable to me. Do you
Yeah.
think it is?
I don't know. I don't know. I think nobody ever told me that the knot will either be the strongest or the weakest part of the rope, and I don't know if it's true, but it's just something that sounds right, and maybe it is just something that his mind made up. Um, but yeah, I think maybe this is some progress to some magic because I think later what happens in his dream is definitely not coincidence.
hmm I was thinking maybe it's related to the places sleeping. Maybe it's touching in some way the fairy world, and maybe the fairy world can give you dream, or someone in the fairy world can give him dream in some capacity. So I was thinking maybe that could be the reason.
Yeah, this might be some reason, yeah. So yeah, I think this could be some progress or some way because then he has the memory about how his father told him again that tradition is the reason why they stop at the waystones. And then there is this part where his father says, "But there's power in them. Only a fool would deny that." Oh,
hmm
it was Ben who said it. And then Ben was no longer there, and there was not one standing stone, but many, more than I had ever seen in one place before. They formed a double circle around me. One stone was set across the top of two others, forming a huge arc with thick shadow underneath. I reached out to touch it, and awoke. So this part for me definitely seems some kind of prophetic or some future insights. This I think is definitely not just his mind making something up.
I agree. Do you think it has any link to something that we'll see maybe in the third book? Because it seems like as a do you know the title
Uh,
of the third book? Maybe it's similar.
yeah, the title will be Doors of Stone, and I will look it up because I think the cover of the book is out, and I'm not too sure, but I think it is this stone with an arc to see. Ah, okay. So I know. See the cover of the book, and yeah, there is some stone arc, but I think it's for me the chapter as the chapter describes it for me in my mind is like Stonehenge. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and this is more like the cover looks more like a true door arc. Um,
Mm-hmm.
might not be fitting, but yeah, who says that the door on the cover will has to look like that. So yeah, for me, I think this might be the Jaws of Stone described in the chapter. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. Also, there's also mention in this sentence about the safe places and the safe roads leading into danger. And I think it's also way where the title of the chapter comes from, Roads to Safe Places. And also it's hinting to me that ways on our safe places, but they can lead you to dangerous places, just like maybe the fairy world.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, I think one thing that I would like to mention, but I think we should maybe go deeper in it when we get to that chapter, because I know later Fella has also some dream that does not seem to be like coincidence, and her dream is about, I think, some Barrow King talking in her sleep, and when he talks about the doors in the library, the 4-plate door in the library, there she tells that she once had a dream about it where, yeah, some king, I don't know, talked to her, and that also seemed like someone was reaching out in her mind, and yeah, maybe the person locked in behind the 4-plate door is, yeah, reaching out in people's dreams, and yeah, maybe there's he tries to get himself freed.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember this dream of Fela, so I will be happy to talk about it when we come to it. But
Hmm.
yeah, to me it makes it's really it's really plausible that someone is capable of interacting with dreams. That will be not the craziest magic in this book.
Yeah. Okay, what happens next after he had this dream?
Is try to survive. One part
Mm.
is shelter, so the waystone. One part is water, so is finding some water source, and one part is eating, and is trying to set a snare for a rabbit, but he struggles to kill him. He decides not to, and the next snare he set up one that kills.
Yeah, because for the first one he imagined how the blood would run down when he would cut the rabbit, and he doesn't like the idea of blood, understandably.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why on the second one he, yeah, makes the one that kills immediately.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's relatable, right? Because yeah, I think many people I know are also vegan and don't eat meat, and I know at least of one person who said that she doesn't think that she would be able to kill something even if she would be very, very hungry. Um, but yeah, I think you you can make some ways where you make it easier for you, right? So
Hmm.
like, yeah, killing indirectly, for example, and this might be something that Quoth does here as well.
Hmm. Yeah, for me it's always it's always interesting because I am also vegan, and most of the time we see people that are eating meat but say that they couldn't hurt an animal in any way, but they are the reason that the animals suffer because they buy it, but they wouldn't do
Yeah,
it themselves. So I think it's good if you want to eat the meat, then I think you should be able to make it yourself. Otherwise, it's a bit hypocritical in some way to me.
yeah, I agree there completely. I think, yeah, you should not hide from the results that you make with your actions. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else about this chapter?
Mm, I don't have anything anymore.
Okay, yeah, me neither. Then let's head to chapter 19.
Chapter 19, Fingers and Strings. And I just realized I thought in the intro that we're going back to the inn, but no, it was last week. This time we
Yeah,
are we are
yeah, right.
proceeding of traveling.
Yeah, do you have this chapter prepared still?
Yes, I have. I just misremembered.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you're right. Last time we were in the Waystone Inn again. But yeah, now in this chapter we see Quoth making music to, yeah, to everything basically, to
Hmm.
his memories, to his surroundings, and even his feelings. And yeah, how do we start in this chapter? What was your first impression there?
I thought about the four doors, And I was also maybe thinking about the dwarf keeping busy, like obsessionally getting busy. For example, he keeps practicing with the lute, and I was thinking maybe it's also some kind of door. That's a door where you are so frenetically using your something that you cannot think about anything else. So maybe it's also some kind of sleep.
Yeah, it makes totally sense. It's a little bit like dwarf sleep where you just don't deal with it and not think about it, just do something else that your mind cannot go to these horrible thoughts.
Hmm.
And yeah, we see here that Quoth is there, I think a few months, right? So
Yeah.
he said in the beginning I was almost oh no, it's autumn and autumn. It's not autumn. But I think yeah, it's still a few months when he leaves this wood. Um but yeah, let's start with the beginning. He says that he started to play music because one thing he had was time. And I found that very interesting because he actually has very, very little, but it's enough that he has a lot of time.
Hmm.
Did you thought about this?
I remembered about one time when he was speaking with Ben, he also said something like this. I don't know if you remember also. Ben asked if he wants to learn something, and Quoth answered something like, "Hey, I'm a kid. If I have anything, then it's time."
Ah, yeah, yeah, I remember that now. That's true.
So I was
Um,
very, very on character for him.
mhm. Yeah, I think I found it very interesting because a lot of people work very much and yeah, to earn money, of course, and then they have not too much time. And here, Quoth basically has he has no crops or something. He has to survive out in the woods, and still he has so much time. And I found it very interesting that depending on what your current needs are, you can have a lot of time or you can have less time. And yeah, just make me thought a lot.
Hmm. Also, it's
Think it's
interesting because at first he said, "One thing I did not need, time." So in this case, he doesn't really want to have it, the time. It's also an interesting thought because it's not someone will say in a lot of case.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it's understandable that he does not want to have time. He wants to be busy and
Hmm.
wants to occupy himself. Um, yeah, one little tale that I was told in school. I don't know if you know it. I think it's called Tale to Demoralize Someone to Work. I don't know. It's about this fisherman
Uh-huh.
and he's in his boat on the beach and is just relaxing, and then one other man comes and asks him, "Why don't you go out to the sea and fish? It's good weather today." And he tells him, "I already caught 3 fishes, and that's enough for me." And then the other man asks him, "Why don't you go fish more? Um, then you could maybe earn a second boat." And then the man asked, "And what then?" And then he tells him, when you have a second bot, you can fish even more fish, and then you can earn a fleet, and so on, so on. And this escalates and escalates. And then finally, the fisher asks him, "And after I have done all that, what should I do?" And then the other man said, "Then you can relax." And then the man tells him, "But that's exactly what I'm doing right now." And yeah, I found it just interesting, and somehow I connected this story to this thing that if you're
Hmm.
fine with not working too much, you can already relax and
Hmm.
just found it interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really something that we see a lot in our society. If I look around at my friends, my family, how much time they put in work just to say that in the end they will relax, but they really
Yeah.
they don't really relax.
Yeah. I think for considering investment and so on, it of course, it probably makes sense to earn early a lot of money and then you can relax more later.
Hmm.
But yeah, if the goal is to relax, then don't forget it in the present time.
Hmm. It's also a question in at what age are you going to be able to relax? Like being able to relax in the prime of your life, being dynamic, and being able to relax when you're when you're 70s because you're just done with work, then it's not the same thing. It's not the same kind of relaxing, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Um, okay, what songs does Quoth play here in this chapter?
Sometimes it plays warm grass, sometimes it plays cool breeze,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes grading leaves when it's nice outside. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very, in some way, very abstract, but also very real. So it's tough to imagine. For example, to me, I'm not a musician. I could not say, oh yeah, it's grass. Yeah, I can hear it. But maybe it makes a lot of sense if you're into it.
Yeah, I don't know as well if I can. I think I can imagine or I can relate to music with feelings. I don't think that objects, so for example, grass, to describe grass with music, this would be difficult, but to describe the feeling of grass, I think I could relate more to that.
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I
Hmm.
think feeling and music, this is somehow it's connected.
Hmm. The closest example I know will be the Four Seasons from Vivaldi. Do you know it?
Yeah, sure.
And now that I think about it, I think even when I didn't hear, when I didn't know the whole thing, I could still recognize, oh, which season it is. I think you can hear it, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Also, there's this classic song, "The Moldo," and I think it's a river in
Hmm.
Poland. I don't
Hmm.
know, and that's also like starting with I don't know what's it's in English die Quelle. You know
Hmm.
what's in English?
The
So
source.
the source, maybe, yeah, yeah, the source, let's call it that. When it starts out very, very little and it sprinkles there, here and there, and then later gets to this big river, being a big river, and the
Hmm.
music also describes that somehow very well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, of course he Quoth starts with songs he knows, and then it gets more curious and yeah, more to being feelings and things he remembers riding in a wagon with
Hmm.
Ben and watching Shandy dance. This one I found very interesting because
Hmm.
we talked about maybe that she maybe did a lap dance for Ben,
Hmm.
and yeah, I don't know if there was any other chapter or scene where she danced, but I think yeah, probably she's just known for dancing
Hmm.
in that troop. But I found it just funny that maybe he made a song about a lap dance.
Hmm. Yeah. Also, what I found interesting, there is pretty precise time, as I say, after 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months. And I was also a bit surprised that he's able to be so precise about the time because if you're in the nature and also if you're in some kind of grief and you're getting a bit obsessed or crazy or sleeping a lot, I think it's really tough to keep track of time. So I was really surprised they're so precise with it.
Yeah, I think this is also one reason why we probably are not in the Fey world, because in the Fey world he completely lost track of time.
Hmm.
And I think here it's probably because the season changing. I
Hmm.
think, yeah, making out days and weeks, that's difficult, but months, I don't know if do you
Yeah.
think that you got if you got somehow randomly get put into some time and you would have 3 days there that
Hmm.
you could figure out by yeah by the weather and how much sun you have, what part of the year it is, also by seeing the plants they're blossoming
Hmm.
or Yeah, you
I,
don't know. I don't.
I wouldn't be very good at that, but I think some people would be good at this.
Yeah, I can imagine it that
Mm-hmm.
3 days could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see how long the day is,
Mm-hmm.
and if the plants are. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if it's after winter or before winter,
Mm-hmm.
I think one could see that. Yeah, I can imagine that.
Mm-hmm. I think what make the most sense to me is that you could count the moons because they are almost a month most of the time, I think, like 4 weeks.
Yeah, this was more makes sense. Yeah.
So maybe he was able to count the moons.
Yeah.
Um, but right now I'm asking myself, do you think they have a moon? I don't remember if there's any mention of the moon in this story because I'm not sure it's on the Earth, right?
The moon is very important, I think, in this story because, yeah, we also
Something.
have this maybe in the Legless box, there's a moonstone, and we have this
Uh-huh.
story about EX who steals the name
Mm-hmm.
of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there are stories about it. And I think if I remember it correctly, in the early days, the moon was only in this mortal world.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Fey world got created, and I think their EX stole somehow the moon, and that's why the moon is, yeah, it's changing places. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's in the mortal world and partly in the Fey world, and then it switches around from there. So they definitely have a moon, and then they have this, the, I don't know, seasoning of the moon. I don't know how it's called.
Mm-hmm. But also, I was asking myself, do do you will would you call it a moon or is it the moon? Like in, I know that for Earth we have our moon, but some other planets have their moons. Is it how it works, or is the moon always our moon?
I think this moon here is exactly like the moon that we have in our on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I imagine it, and I have not seen anything that describes it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it can be related to our moon.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think the story takes place on the Earth?
Um, well, yeah, we have different continents and shapes of lands, right? And
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's a planet very Earth-like, and also we saw the map; it looked very much like Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I for me, I think I imagined some Earth-like planet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But not the Earth like it was the Earth at some time. There was years that it's like futuristic or historistic or something.
No, that I don't
Mm.
think so. No.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, what else do we have in this chapter?
At some points, it starts to break the lute, and that's the big thing that will start to move him.
So first he starts playing then with 6 strings, and this is actually something which will come in handy later.
Mm-hmm.
So when he will try to get his pipes at the Aeolian,
Mm-hmm.
of course the lute will break, and then he starts playing there with 6 strings, and yeah, here's maybe where he learned it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after that, another breaks, and then one more, and that's too many. And then he decides to seek more lute string.
Mm-hmm. And also one thing that I found interesting is when he's on the road, at some point he's saying that he's pulling his lute after him. So maybe I'm confused, but I imagine the lute like a little thing, right? And pulling the lute after me, it sounds like like a gigantic instrument. What do
Yeah,
you
I'm not.
think how big a lute is?
A lute
Hmm.
is, I think, yeah, I have seen a lute before, and it is smaller than a guitar. So
Okay.
yeah, it's you can you don't have to pull it.
Okay.
But but maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's just how in English you say it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know if there's a deeper meaning behind it.
Hmm.
But I found it very interesting that he spends time in the wood all alone, and the reason why he goes away from there and wants to look for a city is not because he thinks that there's a better place, but because he needs loot string. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is very interesting for me. This is maybe it's some kind of madness. Maybe it's yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see that it's yeah something in his mind is maybe not how I at least can relate to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at first it's a bit like is being very shy and tries to not interact with anyone, but at some point the roads grow so big that there are too much people, and some people starts to talk to him.
Yeah, there's this man Seth with his son. What's his son called? I think Jack. I think it's Jack.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he asks him to to hop on his cart, and um, together they ride. And he offers him a piece of bread, which I personally I found it very yeah very kind the scene, and I love these little kind scenes in the series, which we actually have a lot of those where um I don't know, Quoth leaves some money for the man making his shoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are many incidences where there's just some little gestures of kindness, and that's something that I also really like about this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something that you see very often in the time where food, well, was maybe more scarce than it is now. People were maybe more more likely to share.
And but that's interesting that the less people have, the
Mm-hmm.
more you are willing to share. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
At first it's surprising, but maybe it makes sense in the case that they know what it is to not have enough. So maybe it's easier to give because you know how big of a service it is.
It's true. And also, if there are so many other people who could help, and yeah, also if maybe today you don't think that it's really that urgent, um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe people give less than it was back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense, yeah.
And if you've never liked food, then you don't know how close you are of lacking really. So maybe you think, oh, if I give too much, I don't have enough. But if you never tested the limits of how little you can have, then you may be insecure about how much you can give, and when in doubt, then you keep it for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, and in the end, they they started to sing. At least the father and his son, they sing Tinker Tanner, described as a drinking song that is older than God.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then that's where the chapter ends.
Mm-hmm. All
Do
right.
you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay, me neither. Yeah, were two short little chapters, but I liked them still a lot. I liked seeing Quoth being in his own and seeing his mind work, and yeah, also the last scene I like a lot.
Hmm. I think these two chapters are a part of the reason why I like the book so much because it's not happening so much in these two chapters, but they're really good at getting a feeling for how people live and how things are. And I think that's really the strength of Patrick Rothfuss that is really good at making you feel the universe. And I think I could fit it really well in these two chapters.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Okay, should we jump into the last bit of our episode today?
Yes. So today, instead of who said it, we were thinking about some question that we could ask ourselves. Because of last time we thought about book three and maybe it's coming at some point. We hope so. And we asked ourselves, what are the three questions for book three that we have? What are the three questions that we are hoping for answers in the book three? Do you want to start?
Yeah, for me this was very, very tough
Mm-hmm.
because there are many questions I have. Um, but yeah, also I think the most interesting things for me aren't necessarily questions I have. Um, but yeah, maybe I will just start. Maybe it's this is might be my I will start from less to more. So
Mm-hmm.
my first question is what's up with Auri? Because
Mm-hmm.
for me, Auri is a very interesting character, and um, there are theories or maybe even evidences that she is a shaper
Mm-hmm.
and maybe she's an angel. I don't know if she's immortal, if she, how long was she there? Um, yeah, just in general, I want to somehow know Auri's life and
Mm-hmm.
what's up with her.
Yeah, I didn't have it as a question, but I think it's something that will interest me a lot also. But I try to focus my three questions in a way that if the three questions are answered, then I will be happy enough with the book. So Ari is to me not high enough priority.
Okay, yeah, that's very interesting because I also thought about this, that I thought I thought to myself, I'm not mad if the next book won't answer this,
Mm-hmm.
um, because yeah, I think it's not a necessity for the book itself or for the story, but it's just something that I'm interested in. So yeah, I think it's maybe it's good that you have more the questions that need to be answers in the next book to fulfill the story or make the story whole.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe I have some other questions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you want
Okay,
to
what
go
is
ahead or should I go next?
no go you add? What's your
Okay.
first question?
My first questions, a very obvious one, I think. What are the change we are trying to achieve?
Yeah,
I think we
this is
talked a lot
actually what I
about
have
it.
as
Mm.
again. Yeah, go ahead. I sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I think we talked a lot about it, and we didn't have really an answer. So I mean, I'm still very interested in it.
Yeah. Do you think we will get an answer to that?
I didn't ask it myself. Also, it's a good question. Mm, I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? There could be a very good third book where the Chandrian are not really playing a big role, and that could still make the story pretty okay, I think. So it doesn't have to be, but I think it will, right?
Yeah, I think we will get answers. Also, for me, I think a little bit. I think it should be answered because the Chandrian are what Quoth drives the most. It's the reason why he goes to the university because he wants to find out more. It's the reason he goes to the mayor because he thinks with the power of him he can search for libraries that has answers. It's the reason he goes to the Adem because the Cathay told him that he gets answers about the Chandrian there. So I think the Chandrian are yeah his biggest motivation. So for me, for the story to be whole, I think there should be this should be answered.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually, yeah, as I said, this was also my second question that I would like to have answered.
Mm-hmm.
But I think again, also not necessarily what they want. Of course, I'm interested what they want, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm more interested in somehow in their backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like in Auri's backstory, I'm more interested in the Chandrian's backstory. How did they got together? And yeah, this is something that I'm really interested in.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking maybe if you know what they're trying to achieve, maybe it then does make sense. How do they appear or something? But it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, as I said, this is my second question as well. So, what is your second question?
My second question is why does Scrolls kill a king? Because the World Series' name is the Kingkiller trilogy or Chronicles. And most of the time, we don't know why. We don't know even if he really did kill a king. So when you're talking about the book and someone's, yes, the Kingkiller Chronicles, and but you cannot really say something about it. So I think it's the biggest question for me, actually.
Okay, yeah, that's very fair. Yeah, yeah, it's funny that it's called Kingkiller Chronicle, and we we not only did we not have seen the king, or not have interacted with them, we also, yeah, we don't have any motivation for
Mm-hmm.
killing a king right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like he is the big bad guy that it leads up to, and we know in the end, Quoth and the king will fight in a duel.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's for now there's really not a whole lot mentioning of. I think it's King Roderick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's see. Yeah, good question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and do you think it will be answered? Most likely it will, right?
It would be really funny if there's no killing in the Kingkiller Chronicles. This I would really, yeah, found really funny.
Mm,
Yeah, I think we will get the answer. I think there are also a lot of hints that it will be King Roderick who gets murdered.
mm-hmm.
Um, his colors are yellow and red, and there are many incidences where yellow and red things die. I think, for example, also the little bird that Quoth uses to let the mayor see that his medicine is poison.
Mm-hmm.
Those birds are also called Calanthus. I think
Mm-hmm.
Calanthus, something like this, which is the last name of the king or the house name of the king.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then also when Quoth is at the Cathay, there are butterflies, and I think the first butterfly that is gets killed is a yellow-red one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are a lot of hints that yeah, the King of Winters will die.
Interesting.
Okay, my third question, or yeah, again, I don't have these questions, but more like what I found interesting, which I would like to get answers, is about Elodin. I found
Mm-hmm.
Elodin such an interesting character, and yeah, again, what is his backstory is my question. Well, because we know he was also very young when he got to the university and was, I think, the youngest to make Arcanist and the youngest on the youngest to make Master, and then he was also Chancellor as well. Then we know that he can speak Adem. He made some Adem hand gesture with Quoth.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the his shadow, his shade, his yeah. Philorin made some shadow cloak for Quoth, and Eloden picked it up immediately. And yeah, I think he's just so interesting. And if I could have any side book on any character, it would be Eloden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Do you think there will be answers to your question?
Unfortunately, not. I think Eloden will be this mysterious, all-powerful, yeah, man on the yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it will be answered.
Yeah, that could be. Also, I can imagine if in any way the book series should continue or there should be another trilogy about the same universe or something, I think Aladdin is a big candidate for a bigger role.
Yeah, I think it's maybe he's a little bit like Dumbledore from Harry Potter, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, that yeah, he is just this powerful, yeah, some sort of master or teacher. And yeah, we also get in Fantastic Beasts the background story of Dumbledore, or at least they tried to give it to us before they canceled it. Yeah, I could
Mm.
also see it.
All right. And
What's your
my last questions. I don't think if I don't I'm not sure if maybe I focused on on something that's not that important, but my question was, are the attacks from the Skrull part of a bigger problem?
interesting?
because at the start of the first book, there's the scroll, and it seems like to me, it sounds like the beginning of some kind of apocalypse or something. Like creatures from another world are starting to invade, and maybe the gates are breaking, and all kind of creatures will be yet invading. So I was thinking maybe it's some kind of a bigger problem, but maybe also it isn't. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's a good question because we know in the current time the king was killed, and this leads to some, I don't know, some rebellion or something, or I'm not too sure. Also, they go to the king's army. So yeah, I think in some places war is going on and bad times are going on, but also then we have this the creatures that the normal mortal people do not know of that also are start to come, and I think they are coming from even east of the mountains, so it's
Hmm.
not on the map. And yeah, that's a good question because yeah, it feels like it's the beginning of a new story maybe, or of
Hmm.
not a new story, but a new problem.
Hmm. And that is something that I think will be answered in the third book. In my imagination, the third book will have more focus on the transition between the story of Quarles and the time at the inn, and they will make the transition of it. And I could imagine a bigger part of the third book happening in the present time.
Mhm. Yeah, that's yeah, one thing I was wondering as well. How does the trilogy end? And does it end at the present time, and then there should be more books and maybe a new trilogy up from now, and this is just the background, or if yeah we get a resolution to the present time as well.
Mhm.
I think
Also, mm,
yeah, I think both would be fine. I would totally be happy with the third book just finishing with his backstory. And of
mhm.
course, I would be disappointed in some way that I don't know how it will go further on with present growth. Um, but I think if the background is a good trilogy, then it's fine for me as well.
Yeah, I think so too. But also, if I remember well, the Skrulls are getting hurt by iron, so a lot of people think it's some kind of fairy creatures. So it makes also a big part of the question is if maybe there are some kind of fairy world creatures that are coming to invade or something.
Yeah, that's a good question as well. Yeah, for me, in general, what is east of these mountains? Because it
Hmm.
seems like both has some experience there or knowledge about this, and yeah, just what is there, what else is in this world?
Yeah, yeah, there could be everything else or up the sea.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe they will find some kind of America or some kind of Africa at some point.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is it, right?
Yeah, I was very happy to discuss it with you today,
Yeah, me too.
and I'm wishing everyone a good day and see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.